Subphylum Vertebrata. Urochordata and Cephalochordata, Vertebrata. There are three subphylum. Then we have completed Urochordata and Cephalochordata. Now we are moving with subphylum Vertebrata, which we said there are two superclasses. That Anata, Nathus means jaws. A means absent. What it means? They lack jaws. Jaws are absent. Nathu stomata, nathu ma, that jaw, stoma, mouth. That means mouth where mouth surrounded by jaws. That you can understand. So there are two superclasses, Aneta and Nathu stomata. Aneta, Nathu stomata. Next, Aneta. Extinct class of Aneta is Astracodermi. That means Cephalapsis is the example. They are not present now. They got extincted millions of years back. The live extant class of Aneta is Cyclostomata. Extant means at present they are live and they survived now. So millions of years back who got extincted, who gone away, what do you call them as that extinct? We use the word called extinct. So that were present at this time, if they are present, we say they are called extant. So extant classes of Gnathostomata are Chondrichthyes, Osteichthyes, and Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves, and mammals. Chondrichthyes, Osteichthyes, Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves, and mammals. Then extant class, we said about the extant classes. Then extinct class of Gnathostomata is Placodermi, just for information. Placodermi, Climaceus and Diplocanthus are the examples for Placodermi. Then we are learning now about the extant classes only, that what we said in case of superclass Aneta, that Cyclostomata is the extant one. The superclass Aneta, jawless vertebrates, we can say A without gnathos, jaw, that means jawless, primitive, fish-like, aquatic, fish-like, they are not fishes. Okay, so now let us see here that if an organism we completely look like fish, why don't you consider it as a fish? What is the property of fish which they don't have? That is very important, you should know. Then when we go to the fishes, we'll discuss that back again. But you should know very important that there are paired fins we'll find here. We call them as pectoral fins. Pectoral fins and pelvic fins. These pectoral and pelvic fins only compared with the forelimbs and hind limbs of that are tetrapods. That means including human being. Let's talk generally. These pectoral and pelvic fins only, your hands and legs. It is believed to be. Okay. So if any of the fish-like animal, if they don't have this kind of pectoral and pelvic fin, we call generally as paired fins. If pectoral and pelvic fins are paired fins, we use it to say, if the paired fins are absent, we can say that is not at all a fish. You may call it as fish-like animal, but you cannot call it as a fish. Earlier in Cephalochordata, that Amphiaxis is also look like a transparent fish, but that's not at all fish because they don't have paired fins. You just understand like that. Okay. Then that's what we are saying. Do not have paired appendages. What are paired appendages? Pectoral fin and pelvic fin are said to be paired appendages. If there is no paired appendages, you can't say that as a fish. Okay, so do remember that internal ear bears one or two semicircular canals. These kind of language from the beginning till the end we follow this language. That's why let us see a maximum, actually maximum. What is meant by maximum? Human being, mammals, isn't it? So there we can compare each other. Okay, so when it comes to the human being, that about ear I am talking here, external ear pinna is present. That is only in mammals. Next, external ear opening, which it opens into a structure called tympanum. That we are talking, I am talking about our ear, internal ear of human being. External structures also we are showing. Tympanum. Tympanum to malleus to incus to stipes. Means here there are three bones. Middle ear acicles we say. This is external ear and middle ear. Malleus, incus, stipes. There are three bones are present here, and then they open into the internal ear we call semicircular canals. Okay, so this is the internal ear portion. I am not here to explain the total here, but names at least I am showing here. Internal ear with three semicircular canals are present. Besides this, this is cochlea I drawn, cochlea with semicircular canals. I'll show you the semicircular canals with another color. So these are the semicircular canals. Three semicircular canals can be seen over. Okay. So that not to learn this one, totally not to learn here, but you can see the pattern of evolution. Slowly, the class wise, you can see that organisms are going to develop. That means in amphibia, we used to say tympanum is appeared for the first time. So what is tympanum? That means that we have to say. So maximum is this one, external ear pinna, external ear opening, auditory canal and tympanum, then three middle ear acicles, malleus, incus, stapes, then cochlea, then semicircular canals. Likewise, this is the complete ear structure. You can see the evolution of the ear. We get started from internal ear. At least in this particular area, we are saying internal ear bear one or two semicircular canal. How many we have? Three semicircular canals we have. Okay. Likewise, at least in case of amphibia, we used to say there is a middle ear acicle called columella oris. Likewise, they don't have three, only one, columella oris. Likewise, interestingly, till the end, till mammals, we have to see this particular feature, how far it was developed. And here, a sense organ started from inside. That means what is appeared now? Semicircular canals are appeared. One or two semicircular canals are appear. Okay. So how many you have? Three I have. That you should know. That's what I'm saying. So notochord, we already said over. Notochord is persistent in the adult also here in these organisms. Notochord is persistent in the adult also. Okay. Now, Anatha include extant class cyclostomata. So need to talk about the cyclostomata. Extinct class of Anatha is Astracodermi. The example is Cephalapsis, Astracodermi, Cephalapsis. Let's talk about cyclostomata. Very, very, very important. The cyclostomata, cyclo, that means surround, stoma means mouth. You remember this from the beginning we are saying stoma. In earthworm we said peristomium, stoma, mouth, peri, surround, prostomium, stoma, mouth. Before the mouth, that's why we call that segment, pseudo segment as prostomium. Everywhere, protostomia, stoma, mouth, proto, first, deuterostomia, that stoma, mouth, deutero, next, likewise, everywhere. So that's why that remember this word, which will be much helpful to you. That stomata, stoma, cyclo, circular, stoma, mouth. Let us see that circular mouth, how it is. So here it is, the circular mouth. Mouth is circular. So that circular mouth is present here. The cyclostomes are jawless, aquatic, marine or freshwater forms. They will find them marine or freshwater. Body is scaleless, long, slender, eel-like. Body is scaleless, scales are absent, long, slender, eel. Eel is a kind of fish actually. Endoskeleton is cartilaginous. Cartilaginous endoskeleton is present. The vertebrae are represented by imperfect neural arches in some. So vertebrae are, here it is, the circular mouth. Mouth is circular. Suctorial, that means you see these structures, suckers like structures you'll find here. Isn't it? All these are. So suctorial mouth. Suctorial mouth. Okay, circular and contains suckers. That's why we can say suctorial mouth. Mouth is circular and suctorial. Tongue bare, horny teeth. Can you see the tongue there? Let me show you. Can you see the tongue there? Tongue bare inside. The tongue bare, horny teeth. So circular mouth and tongue bare, horny teeth. Respiratory organs include 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits. The heart. Heart is two-chambered, as in fishes. Heart is two-chambered. Next, mesonephric kidney. Kidneys are mesonephric. The example, Petromyzon lamprey, we say commonly mix in hagfish or slime eel. We can say Petromyzon and mix in. Almost look like fish, isn't it? Then why don't you call them as fish? That means you have to say paid fins are absent. Caudal fins are present. If you see that here it is, caudal fin. Tail fins are present, but pectoral and pelvic fins. If they are absent, you can't see. So this is the Petromyzon and this is the hagfish. So now that speciality of the lamprey, Petromyzon, we have to go for anadromous migration. It will show anadromous. Let's keep it in mind. Anadromous means migration of a particular organism from marine water to fresh water. Means it is actually live in ocean. Then from there it will enter into the fresh water. A marine water to fresh water. If marine lampreys migrate to fresh water, for what? For laying eggs, to lay the eggs. So that migration we can say anadromous migration. So what is the speciality of lamprey? Lamprey show anadromous migration. It swims from the marine water to the fresh water for spanning. But from the marine water, let me show you here. I am not going to draw the ocean. I don't pay such kind of effort. Just imagine this is fresh water. So fish migrate from marine water to fresh water. For what? To lay the eggs. Okay, eggs are laid over. Then what then? That adult fish will die. Adult will die itself. Okay, after spanning, the adult fish, what I mean, adult lamprey will die. So that particular eggs will be hatched over and a larval form is getting formed. Ammoset larva, we say. After undergoing ammoset larva into adult, that young one will go back to the marine water. Okay. So then cycle begins that at the time of laying eggs, they come back to the fresh water, they lay eggs here and they die here only. So death and birth here only, life in marine water. That's the interesting thing. Life, birth and death here only. That means after birth, they grow here, they become a larva called ammoset larva and they become adult and they go to the back to the marine water when time comes, laying eggs, they come back to the fresh water and they lay eggs here. So this is the routine. It will go on. The routine, it will go on. So that is the speciality of lamprey, Petromyzon. We use it to say. And a larval form you have to remember. Hagfish. So what is the speciality of hagfish? Hagfish are exclusively marine. They are considered as scavengers. Why? Because they eat on dead or dying fishes. Dead fishes they eat. So that's why we say that scavengers, natural scavengers of the marine water. Okay, they are going to eat. You see the diagram, the photograph, that particular mix in hagfish is eating the dead fishes. So cleaning like we can say. That's why we say scavengers. So why it is called eel-like? That it is also that a mucus substance will find on above that particular fish will find the mucus substance around on the body. But when it is disturbed, hagfish releases a milky fluid which is more amount of the mucus it is released. We call that milky fluid mucus. The separate mucus sacs are present on them, which becomes more slime on contact with seawater, and the no predator can It's just like applying oil on your hand. So no one can catch. When they try to catch, they will slide over, isn't it? So in that way, when it is disturbed, a hagfish releases a milky fluid from its mucus sacs, which become slime on contact with seawater. Okay. So development is direct here, no larval form. We said in case of Petromyzon, there is a larval form. There is a larval form in case of Petromyzon. Okay. So how to remember this particular characteristic feature? As I said to you in the previous classes also, that a mind map. Okay. So let me say that about mind map. So we have to put the all the particular characters we learned here. We have to put all of them in order with the help of a hypothetical diagram. That means why I said hypothetical, the diagram look like organism. This is not to draw an examination for our remembrance. Okay. So let me test you. So what I am doing, can you able to say or not? Let me test you. So what I drawn. This is our creativity. What I drawn. This is point number 1. Next, this is point number 2. Should practice like that. Yes, any of you are saying that? What is point number 1?
Horny teeth.
And this is number 3. Number 3. Next, number 4. So we can announce here while drawing this kind of diagram, that particular diagram which I am showing may not match with the original. All the characters are fictitious. You may have seen over in movies. Okay, very good. Now, okay, we'll go with some answer here. We'll go back. After all drawing this, we'll go back again. Then we'll see what are the characters we learned over and how to be applied here. Hmm. So these are the characters I'm showing. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back with the same diagram. Diagram will be on the screen itself. Diagram will be on the screen itself. Then we'll try to extend classes of ostracodermy, we said. And next, the class cyclostomata. This is the hypothetical diagram I'm showing. Just when cyclostomata comes, this diagram should come in mind. Cyclostomes are jawless, aquatic, marine or freshwater form that we have to write outside marine or freshwater. In what way? That in migration angle, they said like so. So they are belongs to Aenata, that means jawless. Okay, that you have to remember. Or else we'll draw a jaw here to say wrong. That means absent. So body is scaleless, long, slender, eel-like. Okay, I think that is the point number 4, isn't it? Body is scale-like. I said long, slender, eel-like. The long and slender, I drawn it actually. So that body is scale-like, long, slender, eel-like. That was shown in 4th. Endoskeleton is cartilaginous. Somewhere else, I am writing here. Somewhere else. Endoskeleton is cartilaginous. Okay. Then vertebrae represented by imperfect neural arches. Imperfect neural arches. So I am drawing here. So vertebrae-like structure I am drawing. Then it's your creativity where to draw. That in general, that nearby location I am drawing. That's all. Nearby location. So vertebrae are represented with imperfect neural arches. And we said they have notochord also. That's why I draw notochord like structure first. Then after I am drawing that imperfect neural arches there. Okay. So imperfect neural arches. So let me say again, this diagram does not resemble the original. This is our own creativity that to remember the characteristic feature. This is the point number 5. Okay. So next, here it is. Tongue bare, mouth is circular, tongue bare, horny teeth. That is the first point. That means we are putting in our own order. That is the first point. So we should come from here. The tongue bare, horny teeth, mouth is circular and suctorial. Mouth is circular and suctorial. That point will come here. Okay. Next, we said respiratory organs include 6 to 15 pairs of gills. That is the third point. Next, heart is two chambered. Okay, that was point number 6. Okay, We'll adjust these points here. We'll go in order. This is 4 and 5, then we'll make it 6. Okay, 6. Then heart is two-chambered. Two-chambered heart is present, like in fishes. Two-chambered heart is present. Mesonephric kidney. Mesonephric kidney. So I made it 7th point. Mesonephric kidney. So that earlier in case of in the previous in cephalocardiata, we said pronephric, primitive kidney. Next examples we said about petromyzan and mixin. Petromyzan commonly called lamprey, mixin is commonly called slime eel. Okay, now we are ready. Okay, so one more point is actually to be added, that is point number 8, that is endoskeleton is cartilaginous. Endoskeleton is cartilaginous. Okay, so let me erase this. We'll give the proper numbers. I am not suggesting you to draw like this. I am suggesting use your own creativity, that if you put like in this kind of order, if you put like this kind of order, so what happens whenever we ask about the petromyzan, cyclostomata, this picture will come in mind. Take a screenshot, you practice like this, you see the magic. Okay, so next, now I am saying here, you see this, the tongue bear, horny teeth. First point, that is our first point then. Tongue bear, horny teeth. We close your eyes, that one by one all points will come. Tongue bear, horny teeth. Mouth is circular and suctorial. Jaws are absent. That actually we learned that if you remember that also. Like 6 to 15 pairs of gills are present for respiration. Then next, this one. Heart is two-chambered. And point number 5, that notochord is persistent throughout the life and vertebral column represented in the form of imperfect neural arches. Next, point number 6, scales are absent. Number 7, mesonephric kidney, kidney-like diagram I drawn and made M. Mesonephric kidney is present. Next, 8, endoskeleton is cartilaginous. What to be remembered? Petromyzan, which is commonly called lamprey. Development is with indirect, with the larval form called ammocetus, to be remembered. And the story automatically will remember. Ammocetus, anadromous migration. Anadromous, marine to fresh water. It will swim and it will die here. That all story you people, it will be. It's just like interesting story. Then you'll remember. But marine water to fresh water, they'll come and they lay eggs and they die. And the larva, that eggs will develop into a mooseed larva and they metamorphosize into adult, and adult go back to the marine water. That's the story. And mix in hackfish, we can say, when it is irritated, it releases large amount of mucus with the help of mucus sacs to escape from the predator. That's the story of mixin, and it's a scavenger. It's a scavenger. So this complete page will make you to understand that the total story. Okay. So let me say once again. That means the characteristic features, the cyclostomata. The cyclostomata, characteristic features. In my order, I'm saying now. Tongue bear, number 1, tongue bear, horny teeth. Number 2, mouth is suctorial and circular. Jaws are absent. Number 3, 6 to 15 pairs of gills are present. Number 4, two-chambered heart is present. Number 5, that notochord is persistent throughout the life with imperfect neural arches. Represent the vertebral column. Number 6, scales are absent. Number 7, mesonephric kidney is present. Number 8, the cartilaginous endoskeleton is present. Cartilaginous endoskeleton. Next, that about petromyzan, that anadromous migration, larval form is ammoceid, and mucus at the time of irritation is secreting large amount of mucus. We call them as mix in a slime eel like structure, and a hackfish commonly called, and it's a scavenger. So take a screenshot and do practice with that particular screenshot. Okay, then let me continue. I'm erasing this. Let me continue with questions here. We have some questions to ask. So before that, anadromous migration, marine lampreys migrate to fresh water for spanning. After spanning, they die, and their ammoceid larvae, after undergoing metamorphosis into adults and return to the sea. Hagfishes are exclusively marine. They are considered as scavengers because they feed on dead or dying fish. When they are irritated, you see they are dying, eating the dying fish. When they are irritated, when they are disturbed, the hagfish releases a milky fluid from its mucus sacs, which becomes slime on contact with seawater. Okay. So development is direct in case of hagfish. In case of Petromyzon, indirect development with a larval form called ammoseat larva. Expecting answers from you that hagfish lives in
Marine.
marine. Very good. Hagfish lives in marine water. Okay, so this is about cyclostomata. Interesting thing here, I feel so. I don't know whether you feel. Okay, I hope so. That mind map. Okay, so cyclostomata. No need to pay much effort here to learn cyclostomata. So that's what I'm saying. Practice that mind map.